Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching this broadcast live tonight, the 27th of May, 2025. Tarnation TV live at the Maverick Cup Series. Coming to you this evening from Charlotte Motor Speedway. My name is Blaine Donlin, joined as always by Sir Rod of Weston. How are you doing, buddy?
Not bad at all, buddy. Not bad at all. But good memorial race. The new paint schemes out there tonight. We'll see a few of these patriotic cars out there. Coca-Cola. It's a rough track. Should be a fun one to watch. These guys have been putting on a great show as of late, so hopefully they can continue to do that and have a great show.
That's the thing, man. Like, watching practice here at Charlotte, very bumpy track. I didn't realize how crazy it actually was. This is a 2024 version.
We were watching Ulysses Sandoval earlier, running the high side 1 and 2, and that thing I thought it was going to come off the ground and it was bouncing around so much. But it's just the way the track is. It's a little bumpy. They get bumps when they go down the backstretch. You'll see that during the broadcast. About 3/4 of the way down there, there's the tunnel where they enter the infield of the track. So that's another spot where you see the cars bounce up and down. So it's kind of neat. Tricky at times, too.
Does that really affect it? I remember getting on bumpy tracks like that. It does affect the handling of the car sometimes, especially if there's some real sharp ones. And when you steer, it can really upset the car.
Yeah, going down the backstretch, you don't even really notice it. You will see a little spike in RPM sometimes when you hit them, but very little. In the corners, it can. It literally just depends on the setup too, because if the setup is good enough to where it absorbs them all right, it usually doesn't bother them too much. But should they have the springs a little bit too heavy or the shocks a little too stiff, it might affect how they go. I haven't seen anybody have really too many problems with them yet during practice as we were looking at all the cars that are out there. So we'll have to just wait and see how it works out.
This race this evening, I mean, there was a lot of big races last week. We were talking about it last week with the Monaco Grand Prix, of course, the 600 here at Charlotte in NASCAR, and of course,
Indy 500.
The Indy 500, yeah.
Okay, everybody fired up here.
Very
Remember,
busy.
one switch at a time, turning your
Are we
stuff
heading
on.
into qualifying already? No.
It's probably their elimination qualifying.
Oh, we might have had too many people this evening.
Oh, earlier there was about around 30 cars that were in practice taking time. Mm-hmm. So, that's, I don't know. I haven't really gone through the entry list to see exactly how many of them are there.
There's the top 10 in yellow. After 8 races, these are the standings so far. Jack Merkel, Joshua Mercurio, Austin LaPlante, R.J. Bishop, Anthony McCurry, Michael Norman, Tate Dorsey, Jonathan Peavy, Ulysses Sandoval, and Keith Hughes in your top 10. Although we got word about Keith Hughes, right? He's no longer racing. He's going to play
sitting admin tonight. He'll be dropping down on the points a bit. So that you got to have them, especially with this many people here in the server. You really need to have more admins out there watching. So I, give him props to him for her. Taking and parking the car and sitting there and just trying to help out to get the server to run smoothly.
Yeah, with this many people, especially now, which what it looks like is we're going into a qualifying session, which means I guess I should retire my rig. Probably to thin the pack down. I mean, if you got 48 people wanting to get in here, there's only room for 40, so they're going to have to do a couple of qualifying sessions. So this one right now will determine who is going home and who gets to go into the next qualifying session, which will determine the starting grid of the race. After the grid is set, we will run through that in happy hour, run down the pole position right to the back. With this many people, this pit road is going to be jam-packed. Is this a shorter, is there more space once you hit that commitment line to kind of slow down if you're that last pit stall, or is this?
Yeah, if you're the first pit stall, the very first one, it's right there. You have to be right on top of your game there. The stalls here aren't the greatest. I mean, there's some tracks that do have bigger and wider stalls. So we may see a little melee on pit road a little bit. Getting into there can be a little bit tricky too, especially in the green flag conditions. We've seen a few people who have made the attempt to try to see if they can get in there and make up as much time as they want. They've been doing a great job at mowing the grass. So we know that may happen as well.
Yeah, at least you know what? At least there's no wall.
Yes,
That's
you got
a bonus.
grass to go through, but I believe On this version, I'm not sure, but if you set a wheel out there in the grass trying to pit, that'll get you probably a 60-second stop before you can get service. Maybe it may be a drive-through green, but I believe it's going to give you a 30-second stop under green flag conditions. Under cautions, I think it's probably just the longest line.
Right. So a stop and go for tagging the lawn, if you're coming in.
Yeah, I think if you get out there too far, basically they just call it a commitment cone violation.
Right. Oh, okay. Let's see here.
Now, they've just gone through happy hour, and they're getting into happy hour now. I wonder if that was the qualifying. Like I said, we don't know. Sometimes they do that, sometimes they don't. And what surprises me about that, if it is, Jack Merkel actually qualified fourth, which he's been starting in the back as of late, trying to see if he can win one from the back.
Right.
Points leader, he's been doing very well. I mean, he's come from the back, and he's usually in the top 5 every week. So that's what's got him up there in the points. But I think I don't know how many weeks it was, or how the bet or the deal. It was something to do with a bet, I believe, that he couldn't do it. And so he's been doing it. But tonight it looks like he may try to qualify to see if he can go out there and get himself some more W's.
Long season. Sorry for the spinorama on the free cam there. I got stuck in the I got stuck underground and I panicked.
Oh no!
We're just kind of going for a float around this track here. Grandstands are massive. I didn't realize how much seating is at this place.
It's a big track. I've been here during the infield during Cup and Busch qualifying a number of years back. And it even under qualifying, it's unreal the amount of speed that they carry down the front stretch because that's where I was. The only way I could see it. When they hit that start finish line, it was like, wow, they are hauling the mail.
It's wild because it's only 1.5 miles, right?
Yep, 1.5 miles, but fairly good banking.
Mm-hmm. But you're up over 200, right? Over 200 mile an hour.
Yeah, we can check that out because like right now I'm watching Stallhood, one of the new drivers I was just going to talk about. So is about 195 going into the corner in a draft scenario. Not that it could be a little bit higher if he had a better draft, but talking of the Stallhood, he is the last one so there's only one number that had never been used other than the triple digit numbers. So the single digit numbers and the double digit numbers, only one number had not been used in the history of Maverick racing. And tonight, Stallhood is going to use that. Tyler Stallhood.
That's a very cool stat. Ben is a wealth of information. He can remember all this stuff. It's kind of insane. But the number one, and then he's talking about numbers that actual NASCAR would actually run. Yeah. They don't run 3-digit numbers in NASCAR, but every single double and single digit number had been used except for the one until right now, Tyler Stallhood.
And then you get up into like my number here is the 719. You obviously run the 999. So there's the capability. Now you can't say that there's a capability of having 999 numbers because you also have 0102 all the way up to 09. So it's a little over 1,000 numbers that could be run. And, he's probably still kept stats on all the numbers that have ever been run, but it's just a more, you couldn't possibly, I don't know how many years you'd have to run. You'd have to have races where everybody switched numbers and stuff like that to be able to run every single one of those numbers. But the stat on that is pretty crazy.
I forgot about that, because when you're talking about triple digits, you're also talking about the 000. So every number can have a 0 in front of it up to 99
or
as
two.
well.
Or two numbers.
Yeah. 001, 01, and 1. So there's 3 versions of a 1. There's 2 versions of a 99 because you can have a 099. So it's an extra couple hundred numbers. It's wild.
You'll see one of the rules that they have here at Maverick is that if you are trying to run, we're say hypothetically, I'm looking at RJ Bishop right now, but RJ Bishop runs the 27. Sorry, I got to do this right. 80. Jesus, I'm number dyslexia kicked in here. He runs the 78. Sorry, RJ. And so let's say hypothetically somebody else was running, or maybe even a perfect example, he runs the 78. Somebody wants to come in as the 78. Well, they can. Yeah. And they don't have a problem with that. But the only requirement they have is so you can come in as the 078, okay? But you have to have the 0 on the car. Now, it can be just a little small one, but it has to be on the car.
Right. You have to have a 0. I remember I did that I made a car for Mike Mangialardi, and Brian Wolf and Mike both ran 29. And for Mike, he ran the 029. So all I did was I had the number 2 and the number 9 on the car, and at the bottom of the number 2, I just put the word 0 in there, because so it's like the 029. You know, so you got to have it on the car somewhere. So it was just kind of a neat way to hide it, but at least then it sets it apart for the broadcast, especially when races are being broadcast. Like, oh, the word 0 is in there. Like, yeah, it's the 029. So
as we've got a few more minutes, they're just getting ready to line them up here. Oh, they just restarted happy hour, so probably have a few things that need to get squared away before they get off to the green. Maybe a few people have popped out or jumped out to try to get some stuff squared away. But so far, if this is the qualifying, where it looks like Jonathan Peavy is going to be on the pole tonight. Josh Mercurio, and the only Cadillac out there, he's going to be out there starting second.
Yeah, let's pull up I'll pull that up, actually. So this is a little bit of a more boring screen, but we can check out the qualifying here.
I don't dare do the next one because I know I'm going to mess his name up.
Who are you looking for? What position?
81.
Sorry?
81. Here we go. All right. Benjamin just gave me
Sandy Gutierrez.
Yeah, Sandy Gutierrez. That is. I know I mess his name up all the time.
Yep.
Okay, so while we're waiting on here, we have 20 cars from the United States. We have 1 car from Argentina, 1 from Brazil, Canada, Colombia, and Peru tonight. So sometimes we have cars, you know, all over the world that we don't have as many from as many countries as we have.
That's a cool stat too. The fact that he has statistics on the countries that everybody's from, and then of course those guys are all dealing with different time zones. So as always, we'd like to thank everybody who watches this thing live. That's always super cool. And all these drivers that, even though they're in different time zones, you know, guys will pop in here from like Australia, which are almost like a day behind or a day ahead or however many hours that is.
I used to race with a guy from Australia, and we were racing at 8 o'clock at night, and he was racing at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. Oh, is it a perfect 24
hours? It was close. It was really, really close. And you gave him an updated version of it. So there's 35 cars tonight, 28 from USA, 2 from Argentina, 2 from Colombia, 1 from Australia, 1 from Ecuador, and 1 from Peru.
Wow. Yeah, thanks to all the drivers for coming down and checking this out tonight. This will be a very cool race. We're not going to be running 600 miles here, but it's a fast track.
Yeah, they messed around with the I&I a little bit because in theory, they're running this thing as a 100% race. Okay, so in theory, a 100% race is going to be 400-ish laps. So they must have changed the I&I down so it's a 100% race, but yet, you know what I mean? It's still going to be pretty close to what the 600 would be.
Oh, do they have it set to 100 right now?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Fired up here. Remember, one switch at a time. Turning your stuff on.
That's back behind a screen. I can't see that screen, but that's neat. So they have it set to 100, but
we were talking before too. You know, we have 1 Cadillac, of course, that's Josh Mercurio, 2 Kias, and that's the Snyder boys. 4 Lexuses. Now I can go through some of them. I know Zach's one, and Austin LaPlante, a few others. There's 4 Fords. There's 4 Dodges, 9 Toyotas. So Wrecking Ball's got a few of them out there probably, but there are a few other new guys out there with the Toyotas. And 11 Chevrolets tonight. And the Chevrolets vary from everything from a Camaro to what they call the SS. So
that's cool. A lot of car makes, a lot of drivers from a lot of different countries. And we also have a different Grand Marshal every single week. So without further ado, Logan Pardue from Blue Ridge Survivor. Take it away, sir.
Drivers, start your engines.
There we go. Thank you very much to Logan Pardue. Links to his YouTube channel in the descriptable beneath. Please go check him out. Another very good one. There are a lot of good Grand Marshals this year. It's really cool to see what everybody can do. Every week we get a different one. Ben goes out and finds these guys. I hear Rod Weston wouldn't mind doing one.
I'd do one for him. I don't have a problem with that.
You should get your whole cart crew to do it. That'd be good.
Oh, yeah.
Get the whole room screaming it.
So the thing of it is, we could do it. If we did something like that, we could do it at the track, because we have. That would be cool. Our team. Yes, I have 2 carts in my garage, but our team consists of 4 senior outlaw carts. We all work on each other's carts. We help each other out, but yet we all race against each other. So that would be kind of fun. Right.
You should get one in the bank just in case Ben asks you.
Yeah.
I mean, they're usually only 5 to 10 seconds in length anyway, so.
Oh yeah, could do that.
Our pacing vehicle has removed itself from the racing surface. Jonathan Peavy takes the green flag here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Thanks for watching the Maverick Cup Series.
Yeah, Peavy got a really good start.
And Curio tagging the wall down there.
Yep.
He did get a good start. He's a few car lengths ahead of everybody right here.
He won. I don't know if you see that or not. A little bit of internet latency, but I think we're under caution already.
Caution.
Yeah. Cone comes up there. There's one of those tracks. The cone pops up as soon as the caution comes out. It has that.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah. It has the ability of the team, or if they wanted to do a choose rule, pops up on the track. It's kind of funny.
Is it actually linked to the yellow, so it's not there when we're racing, and then it pops up with the yellow? Oh,
yeah,
cool.
There's 3 arrows, is what they call the choose rule. So when you get to those 3 arrows, they're kind of like orange on the front stretch. You try to pick which lane you want to go. Some of these guys that have made these tracks have actually kind of got clever. When a caution comes out, they put a cone up there.
You know what? That finally makes sense. That I've always seen that cone, and I never really put it together. That it only shows up when we're under yellow, and that makes total sense.
So far,
all right, we found the wreck here. I think it might have actually happened. There might have been a couple of different instances here, I think. Because I'm seeing the 47 goes around there of Mike Yankee, and then there's Truck. He goes around in the 06. Got it in slow motion right now just to catch it all. And then back a little farther. Oh, the 51 actually almost got upside down. And then the 7 goes around as well right there. That's the 7 of Benjamin Snyder. So a few guys involved in that. Chuck got the worst of it. Holy moly.
Good news is it's moderate damage, so hopefully with the moderate damage they'll be able to.
Yeah. So
basically, a bunch of cars, not a bunch, about 5 or 6 cars did hit. Dorsey was the only one that I think took only 2 tires. Rest took 4 tires and fuel.
Some bad rear end damage there on track.
Well, if it was tight before, it's going to be loose now.
Yeah, exactly. Sponsored in part by Suburban Cowgirl Bar and Steakhouse. When you get damaged on Tarnation TV, we advertise your stuff.
It's a little droopy, so that probably will be a little bit looser. It may not. You know, some people it works out good for them that way. Some people it don't, but it's usually more of a parachute too, so it will slow you down on the straightaways. See Jonathan Peavy, the lights just went out on the pace car. Jonathan Peavy took the bottom. Had a good start on the initial restart. I don't blame him for that one.
It's a cool looking car. He's got pictures of people. I'm sure he knows all these guys on the side of his car here. It's got a list
There's
of
a lot of
names on there.
Patriot schemes out there.
Yeah, there is.
Gutierrez on the outside there, Josh Mercurio and Anthony McCurry on the 4th spot. You got RJ Bishop, and on the outside of him, in the 22, is Michael Norman.
Just checking out the hood here of Peavy. He's got, in their honor, he's got 2 different people on there, Kimmel and Brenneman, on the hood of his car.
That is cool.
So that thing is probably fairly close to him.
Member yet.
Yeah. Family members, friends, whoever they are. Right on the hood of that thing. And the 2 is...
Memorial Day is all about as we're getting ready to go back to green.
Yep. Thank you for your service, everybody. No matter who you are, where you're from.
Didn't get as good. I got a pretty good start. I think he got a little bit of a push from Mercurio that gave him going just a little bit better. Seems to me like that bottom groove, at least in 1 and 2, is a little bit better. Woo! Mercurio just kind of drifted up there in front of Norman.
Mercurio slapped the wall at the first little run there at the start of the race, too.
Looks like it's a little bit tight for him. Anthony McCurry trying to make a pass there on the front stretch, but caution flag has fallen again.
Caution.
Had a really good run down the backstretch and just kind of started putting his nose in there. PV gave him the room. Had it gone green, I don't know if he'd have got him by the start-finish line, but he would have been really close.
See if we can find out who this is sponsored by. Same spot as it happened last time. The 51 has been on his lid the last couple times, actually. He got up in the defense in the last one. There's Trek again, lost control. The club at the 51. Man, the 51's doing nothing wrong. He's just getting caught up in this stuff. Randy Waz in there. Christian Torres. The 35. Oh, I can't remember. I just downloaded the 35. Mike Carroll. I'm going to go back in time here, and we're going to ride in the cockpit of the 51 just to see what it looks like if you're sitting inside this thing to do 2 barrel rolls.
If I was him, I would not go by a lottery ticket. It's just not his night.
No. Man, I don't know why there's not more damage on that car. That's wild.
Like we said before, the way who's the 06? The 06, the way the damage was on the back of that you knew that car was going to be loose.
Yeah. Jason Dady.
Trek's car, now that damage back there, he's going to be fighting that. Mm-hmm. Probably later in the run it'll be better, but it's not going to be good the first part of the run.
Just sitting in the cockpit here. Jason Dady in the 051 went over and over again, so it looks like they're fixing some stuff right now. They got the car jacked up to the right, and they're just hanging it there.
Can't hear the hammers and the saws going, but I'm sure they're beating on it pretty heavy.
He's got the wheels turning, so at least the steering column seems to be working all right.
See that hit that Junior took? It was at Charlotte, I believe. He took and put his left side down into the grass, dug in, went right across the track and right up into the wall. His steering column actually was unhooked.
Oh, wow.
How hard he hit. Yeah.
So Jason's going to go a lap down.
Unfortunately, if we get another yellow flag and he gets back out that gets it going, he could have potential to be the lucky dog. So we might get him back on the lead lap if that thing will at least drive it home.
Yep, it's a 125 lap race. There's lots of time. So I'm guessing Maverick is using the choose cone then, because that'll be for the front row.
Just the 2 drivers in the front. The leader has the option of being on the high side or the low side.
And they have to make that call before that pylon.
Yep.
See, yeah, that's so crazy. I never even really realized that until just now. That thing only appears. And that's pretty neat because, yeah, make your choice before you see that cone. It's funny, all the years, playing this simulator, this game, people keep coming up with cool little things like that.
Oh, yeah. To me, it's pretty cool the way they do all kinds of different things. I was just checking up on.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just checking up on Jack Merkel. He did pit once. Unfortunately, we don't have what lap they pitted on. Currently back in the 21st position. Just trying to keep track of our points leader. He did qualify near the front, but he pitted there at some point, got himself a little further back. Interested to see if he can work his way back to the front and take the W.
Yeah, in a race like this, you want to qualify because there's a lot of people here.
Yeah. They pack them in pretty good, so.
Retired the 64 of Mike Hallgrim. Mike Hallgrimson. It's actually his first race here at Maverick.
Evie with a great start. He just launched right off from that bottom. Anthony McCurry did not get a very good run off that. That bottlenecked Mercurio in the back of him.
A lot of black flags to clear there now, but that's just that double file restart thing. Sorry, what about Zachary Hall?
Oh, just going by the whole outside line did not get a very good run on that original start. So they're hanging tough out there now, but kind of bottleneck the outside line up a little bit. Sante Gutierrez, he's gotten himself back into the second position. On that bottom side, Anthony McCurry just jumped down to the bottom. We're back under caution again.
Caution.
I'm just watching where Anthony was running. He's not having a very good time on that high side in turn 1 and 2. He's got himself in a third position, so now at least this time he'll start on the bottom. Should he? Ooh, big pile up there in turn 1 and 2.
So this is probably going to end up being a cool down now, right?
Well, I would say probably pretty close.
Yeah. Couple cars out of sorts here. Just trying to see. The 89 of Quentin Moore is actually in the grass all by himself. See how that happened. Looks like he just got stuck. Oh, I see. That might have been on the restart.
So most of your front row.
It was. In the restart, Quentin Moore gets shuffled right out of the whole thing. He bumped into Wetzel, got bumped again by Mark. So they all kind of fanned out to go around that.
So
a lot of cars out here.
Everybody went to pit road except for a few of the guys that had pitted earlier. Wetzel stayed out. Mike Carroll, and RJ Bishop. I think these guys pitted on the first or second caution, so probably figured they'd be safer getting themselves up near the front.
Track position, yeah. Try to get in front of this stuff. That was interesting. What was going on there, I wonder?
I'm looking to see who come off. Looks like Jonathan Peavy was the first one to get off pit road. I think Denny Carroll might have taken 2 tires because he came out behind him. Anthony McCurry is going to be was the third one out of there, but they're not necessarily going to be in the lead when we get around here, depending on what the cars in front of them do, whether they pit or not. I think a few of them stayed out to lead a lap. Wetzel, I think he's going to stay out. He did not pit that time. He didn't lead that last lap though, because just the way it works out, the people on pit road beat him to the line.
Right.
So he is going to be credited with the lap led this time by. Lights are out on the pace car. RJ Bishop on the outside of him.
Lane choice is Wetzel. 1 lap led. All the other laps have been led by Jonathan Peavy.
Tyus Yankee's going to be out there in the 3rd spot. and Gustav Guerrero. I hope I said that name right.
Gustavo Carrillo, yeah.
Okay, we got it close. He'll be in the 4th spot.
Or Carrillo.
Then you got Jonathan Peavy and Denny Carroll as the first 2 cars that actually pitted on that last time by.
Will we be going green again here at the start of lap number 14?
It'll be interesting to see. I know John Peavy's got a little bit fresher tires, but I mean, how much can these guys hold him off for a little bit? Depends on how the start goes for the 4 tires in front of them.
Noah Wetzel in control. Yellow is staying out.
I was gonna say that had because something went wrong. Possibly the admin decided to give him one more shot at it. May not have been lined up properly, or just waiting to see what the front guys were going to do. Whether they were going to get a good launch.
Yeah, you're always waiting to see too. You're waiting for the lane choice, and then you're waiting, for the launch, and Noah will be in control of it.
Yeah.
Although you are allowed to pass to the right, so the 78.
Before the start-finish line. Once you're past the start-finish line, you can pass anywhere you want. But there again, there are penalties, and they be concurred. Now they're speeding up, so it must be the pace car already had come out. Pace car had come out, they just had to catch up to it.
Yep.
So back off again.
Another tidbit of information we got from Ben before the race was Nick Gunther won this race last year, is not here tonight. So the reigning champ did not show up.
I was kind of surprised to see that Keith Hughes has been... Oh, RJ Bishop got a really good launch, but I don't know if he's going to be able to hang tough on that outside. But
RJ got the lap lead, though, so some bonus points from him.
He sailed it into turn 1 and 2 and just...
Yes, he did.
Took off with the lead, so Jonathan Peavy got back there in 3rd. Just a little bit of incident in the back there in turn 2. But I do believe we're going to probably be in a caution pull down.
That's what I'm thinking, yeah.
So they're continuing to go.
Yeah, there was a brouhaha on the back straightaway there, so we're going to see if these guys get it figured out before they come back around. Looks like it's going to be all right.
Well, Wenzel didn't get a very good start on that, but he hasn't really let RJ Bishop get too far away from him once he got up to speed. Just the restart kind of just didn't go as good. Jonathan Peavy getting down underneath him. Wenzel gets a little bit high. Oh, no, come on. There you go. He straightened out. Oh, someone got in the back of Michael Norman.
We got a brouhaha. Every single car on planet Earth doing their best to stay out of trouble there. Caution cooldown means let it rip, boys. I don't even know where to put the camera. I'm trying to stay in spectator view here because I guess I could get control of pit lane camera here to see. See what's going on. It looks like we're okay.
The track's cleared right now.
Yeah.
Jay Bishop's out there with a fairly good, strong lead there. Jonathan PVP is right behind him. Tim McCurry behind him, and then Noah Wetzel is still back there in the 4th position.
Yeah, there was a lot going on there. We had a couple of different instances there, but they're doing the cooldown cautions, so that means we've had 3 or 4 quick ones. They will not pull one for another 3 or 4 laps.
Trey Kingsley and Zachary Hall, they're currently fighting for the position. And give that to Zachary Hall.
A couple more cars down low there coming out of turn 3. No, that was coming out of turn 2.
Yep.
They were down on the apron there. See, the caution cooldown thing, it's a good idea. It works. It really, this is going to spread the field out.
Right.
You know, it causes, you know, it does cause some kamikaze type stuff because people know that there's going to be no yellow, so you just let it rip and hope you get through it. Not the safest way of racing, but as you can see now, we've got some space between these cars. There's a few second gap, and there's a pack of cars, another couple of 3 or 4 seconds, and there's another pack of cars, so now we've got some space to move out here. Denny Carroll, currently focused on him in the 41, running in 7th. Vincent Delgado the 3rd, coming out of the pits. 27th position for him right now. Christian Torres right there in the 4. Kind of skimming through the field here.
Quentin Moore had parked down to the backstretch there for a little bit, but finally got it rolling again. I think he's going to be headed down a pit road getting that thing fixed up. Oh! That was close. Zachary Hall and Trey.
Oh, did they get
Kingsley
close?
Had a little bump tagger going on there into turn 1. And Trey kind of out off the racing surface up to the wall a little bit. Running side by side for quite a while.
Watching it in replay. He did, yeah. Little door slam there.
Trey's kind of coming back after Zach to see if he could catch him, but
that's something to watch for. I think Trey's going to remember that one. Zachary Hall giving him the strong arm right there.
Give him a business.
Excuse me, sir. You're going to need to move. I got some racing to do here.
The thing of it is, you would think if these guys that are, 4th through about 10th,
yep,
all pretty much nose to tail.
Yes.
So if they get nose to tail, just kind of stay. They separate a little bit in the corners on the straightaways, get just right up behind each other, and just kind of push. They could probably run them top 3 cars down.
Right, because this track, it's not a super speedway. It's only a mile and a half, but it is so fast. You can definitely use the draft to your advantage.
Yep. I mean, obviously, the best place to be is out leading because you get the most downforce in the front of the car. But if they kind of just sat down and worked together a little bit, they could probably run them down.
Save some gas, too, in a draft line like that.
Yep. Unless you're the lead car, but...
Right. Currently locked onto the 711 of John Godfrey in that Hubba Bubba rig there. He's passing Zachary Hall right now for position. The 51 is a lap down. Or sorry, the 051 of Jason Dady is 1 lap down, yes. And right behind John in 8th is our points leader, Jack Merkel, in the 24. Always love how he runs the Jeff Gordon schemes.
Yeah, well, he's a Jeff Gordon fan, but he said that he cannot keep running the schemes that Jeff Gordon won with because for whatever reason, his luck just will not let him win with those schemes. But he runs the ones that he doesn't win with, and then he wins.
Even in a 22 or 23-year-old sim. Yep. Superstition still strong. Oh, there's a door bang if I've ever seen one. Everybody's crashing.
Santa Gutierrez he's currently 22nd position, but he's in the 2nd position as far as where the leaders are. Okay, that's bring out a caution. Yeah, it should give him the lucky dog. But PB was just following. I think PB was just being smart. Staying right behind the 81 of Gutierrez. And just, the 81 was right behind RJ Bishop, so they were just kind of doing what I said to do. Instead of racing for it, try to get in there, try to draft with each other a little bit.
Well, Crocodile Cromp got sideways there and actually tagged Merkel as well. The Tarnation TV curse.
That was your fault.
Yes, it was.
It happened when I talk about him, but it does when you do.
No, exactly. Hey, let's focus on this guy. Crashes.
Just as I figured, probably everybody is going to come down pit road, probably 4 tires and fuel. And Denny Carroll's going to because he only took 2 last time, and it worked out for him. They had a bit of a green flag run there. He's currently in the 4th position when he was about 8th when he first did that strategy, so that worked out good for him.
There is pit lane. Busy, busy place.
Let's see. Benjamin Snyder just came out of the pit, so I was curious to see if he's on the lead lap or if he was a lap down. Apparently shows him 2 laps down. So he might have been involved in one of those situations where the caution cool down was in effect.
From this camera angle, I never realized how wide the pit road is. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Tons of room up there. It's almost 5 lanes wide.
It's not bad, but the stalls aren't the biggest. You know, they're okay. Not the biggest ones in NASCAR.
I'm going to file a grievance. I'm going to be like, yo, you got to make these stalls bigger, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Checking out the schedule. Next week, we will be at the Milwaukee Mile. I don't know why I said it like that. There's no H in that word, but the Milwaukee Mile.
How long is that track? Mile short flat track. It's a mile flat track.
Oh man, that's one you would totally be racing on, eh?
It's Loudon. It's basically Loudon. Depending on what version they use, that makes a bit of a difference to it as well. But it's basically running Loudon. And sometimes, depending, there's different versions where there is a high groove, and and sometimes they're just all a low groove. But it's a fun track, a little tricky. Like I said, there again, depending on what version, a little bit tricky getting into pit lane. It's like right on the exit of 4, a wall comes out, and then there's like an opening on the inside wall. So there's no kind of run down area. It's just and you got to turn.
Oh, really? You got to thread that needle to get in there.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be interesting. How long's the track? Half mile?
Mile.
Oh, it's a full. Oh,
mile flat.
Wait, the Milwaukee Mile is a mile long. Weird, eh?
Yeah.
Cool. It's crazy the styles of tracks, right? So you've got a mile long track like the Milwaukee Mile, and you've got a mile long track like Dover. 2 completely different styles of racing.
Yep. And then, so if you know Pocono at all, turn 1 is turn 3 and 4 at Trenton. Turn 2 at Pocono is basically Indy.
Right.
And turn 3 at Pocono is based off the Milwaukee Mile.
I remember hearing Benny Parsons talk about that. Was he the one who was responsible for putting that track together?
May have been.
Yeah, I remember.
Cars down on pit road. RJ Bishop didn't get out there first. PV got out.
Yep.
Boy, RJ's hanging it tough on that outside. May not get him there, but off if he doesn't get the wall. He may have that run down the backstretch.
Yeah, that was a good run.
Now, let's see what he can do in 3 and 4. I think this is where you're going to see him start to lose a little bit.
He
did it right. Kind of went down there and played off from PV's car just a little bit.
Yeah.
I think
if looking at that 70-80, he almost looks like he's out of control a little bit, like he's maybe driving it loose, but it's working.
Yeah.
Right up against that wall. That thing's bouncing around like crazy. Yeah, you were saying the high line coming, but he made it work.
Oh, yeah. Made it work on that high side. Now he's got to drop down and focus on good, smooth, consistent laps. Maybe saving a little bit something. We might get a long green flag run. Want to be able to make it. We're only 32 laps in a 125 lap race, so don't know tire wear, but can tell you roughly it can do about 33 laps on.
Such a good track.
I've always liked Charlotte. I'm just not going to say it's my favorite, but it's always been a track that I've enjoyed racing on.
Yeah, it's fast. It's a little bit, it's a mile and a half. It's fast, and it looks good on a broadcast too, because I don't know what it is. Some tracks look better on a broadcast.
Yep.
Maybe it's just because of the style of racing that it offers up, and this one's super bumpy, and Guys are still making passes going into the bumpiest parts.
Depending on what view you're on.
I thought they were going to hit right there.
Depending on what view you're on, all right, if you look at the grandstands in turn 1, not the ones that are down by the track, the ones that are up.
Yeah, the ones up in the back.
Up. You wouldn't believe how high up those are.
You want to ride along with Bishop? We can totally do it.
Why not? He's been passed by Jonathan TV, and he's actually drafting pretty good with him.
Do you want to do a crank it up? We haven't done that in a while.
Hey, why not?
Let's do it right now. Ride along with Bishop. There it is. We haven't done the crank it up in a little while, so that was kind of neat. I forget how cool this track looks when you're sitting in a cockpit too at night. It's such a neat, it's a good looking track.
We saw some interesting things happen there.
Yeah.
RJ Bishop lost second place to Anthony McCreary. Rode around there, kind of did a few things. Next to McCreary, I don't know what happened to his car, but it was just like the right front tire went flat, but that thing just shot to the right in a hurry.
Yeah, I'm going to see if I can find that, actually.
RJ Bishop's coming back. He's trying to get back underneath Jonathan PB to try to see if he can't get that lead. Currently, right now, PB's led 19, which would be 20 this time by, and RJ Bishop's led 18. So they're probably trying to just see who can lead the most laps.
See if we can find the point where that's 61. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. That thing just turned. Yeah, it just turned.
Either his wheel disconnected real quick, or whatever, because that's the only thing I can explain it. That thing just shot right.
But then he didn't spin out or anything. He held onto it, and he lost a few positions, but major damage to the right side of that rig there. It's a cool looking rim job too.
That's going to slow him down a little bit.
Yeah.
It's too bad because he was one of the guys that were running up front, putting on a good show up there.
Yeah. Yellow is out. Let's take a look at the damage on the side of the 6 here, or the 61.
Hopefully you can get out pit road, get that.
You can see from that angle there how badly the side of that car is actually crunched. The door, it pushed right back to the wheel hub.
Not good when you can see the wheel outside the car.
No. Not to mention scratch the paint.
Yeah. That's a pretty paint scheme. Yeah,
that's what it's supposed to look like. And that's what it does look like.
Pretty sure that everybody in the front row is going to pit. But a few cars that are going to go out and go past the pace car because they were ahead of the leaders. Interesting to see.
We're stuck to Mercury, so we might as well just ride with him through the pits here.
Markle snuck up there into the third spot. I didn't see him working his way up there into that crank it up because we were so busy watching Jay Bishop and people around him.
All these super cool camera angles that I'm able to pull off thanks to Tyler Mallon for creating FreeCam. What version do you use, Blaine? Glad you asked, Rod. 2, 3, 1.
That's not the latest one, is it? Or is that?
No, it's not. I just never updated it. There is easier ones, but they clip a little different. I don't like the way they clip.
Yep.
Sometimes getting this close to a car, the car will start to disappear. So each version offers some different stuff.
It does very good work.
The whole community in its entirety is absolutely phenomenal. This 2003 is when this thing came out, and you know, who knew we could fly around like that with a camera freely like that with a keyboard and mouse, you know, like, and it just elevates broadcasts. I'm able to do that because Tyler made that tool. And these tracks, these textures, all the people who paint these cars, all the guys who drive these cars, the people who watch this thing. Thanks to everybody in the YouTube chat, by the way. Budget Customs, Rovanami, who else is in there? Matt Moss is in there. Noah Wright, everybody, you know, commenting on the YouTube page and subscribing to it. And it's cool. It's fun. We can play our favorite NASCAR simulator from a different angle sometimes.
Like you and I were talking the other day too, commenting there whether you like to see us do broadcasting instead of broadcasting some podcasts, because we're talking about that a little bit, about how it would be kind of cool to take some of the league owners and have them come in and tell us a little bit about their leagues and different drivers and painters, and they're just anything and everything to do with this game. We could have like a little podcast. We're still working on the details. We don't even know if people would want to watch it. So
it's a great idea.
Yeah,
because like I was just talking about Tyler Mallon. Grab him, man, like FreeCam. How do you? And he coded it. It comes up as a virus when you try to launch it because it needs to run inside your RAM to be able to do that. So you just white flag it, and Windows won't murder it because it'll delete it, it'll quarantine it every time. But once you tell Windows it's okay, it'll work. But think about that, like going, wait, what? How do you program something to do that? You know? But it works. These guys understand these things, and they figure out a way to make these things do stuff you never thought possible. You know, I can take pit camera 1 and pit camera 2 because those cameras don't move, and you can move them.
Move them. Yeah.
So, okay. Awesome.
Lights out on the pace car, but we got a new guy up front here. We still have Jonathan Peavy on the lead, but Jack Merck will come out second in that pit stop exchange. So let's see if he's got something for Jonathan Peavy today.
So many cars to keep track of here, and it's like out of nowhere he finds his way to the front again.
A good start on the outside, but so did the inside lane. RJ Bishop got a really, really good one. Denny Carroll didn't get the launch that he wanted, but I think it might have been by design. He kind of backed off a little bit, got down in that bottom groove, so where he just doesn't seem like he's all that comfortable running that high side.
There's Randy Waugh looking around Carroll. Right behind him, Tate Dorsey.
We talked about Randy much tonight. Currently running up there near the front.
Yep, he found his way to the top 10. He's currently running 6th.
Snookered him there on Sunday, and he got himself a win.
Yellow flag goes out.
It's funny because we were talking to him before, and he didn't even realize he was in the points.
Yeah, and he ended up winning.
He's like, yeah, I'm just here to try to do the best I can, and ends up winning it.
Yeah.
Didn't take the points lead over, but it helped him out tremendously.
Yeah. So there's Tate Dorsey in the 6th. Behind him, we got Oscar Ramos Jr. in the 5. Quentin Moore headed down pit road. Who else is on pit road? Some guys are on pit road, so that'll mess up my... There's Zachary Hall, Anthony McCreary, John Godfrey, Trey Kinsey in the 18. I like these schemes, though. Some of them are pretty sweet, especially with the Memorial Day long weekend.
Yep.
Christian Torres running 8th position currently in the number 4. Oscar Ramos again. We'll just keep going this way. Randy Waugh, Denny Carroll, RJ Bishop, Jack Merkel and Peavy. Of course, the pace car. On the pits, we got Ben Snyder. Gustavo Carrillo. Quentin Moore. Gravois. Was it Gravois or Gravois? I think it was Gravois.
Something like that, yeah.
I believe Jarrett Gravois. Because Ben corrected us. Carnby Edward. Tyler Stallhood in the 19th position. The positions right now aren't really going to count. We're going through a pit cycle. Ulysses Sandoval.
Some of the cars there in the back decided to pit. Everybody that was pretty much up front decided to stay out. They didn't, there were not any laps on those tires, so keep themselves up near the front where they'd be possibly less chance of getting hanged up or something.
Oh, look at that. Santi Gutierrez has Pepe Gutierrez above the window on his car. So we can call him Pepe.
Pepe, that's cool.
Ulysses Sandoval. Tyler Stallhood again. Ben Snyder in the 7. Quentin Moore. Where are we here? Mike Carroll in the 35. Matt Scully. It just says M on my screen. I've got to look up the name. Mark Snyder. Other station daddy again in the 051.
Scully is the 14.
Yep. Vincent Delgado the 3rd. Josh Mercurio. Noah Wetzel. Jorge Pachon. Crocodile Crump. Zachary Hall. And we're back into the top 10 again.
Funny, we see some of the drivers tonight that we didn't see on Sunday. Of course, you got there, some of them on the broadcast, or they were in the chat on the broadcast. One of them was over in Monaco, and then wanted us to feel bad for him.
Yeah, was that Rawson? I think that was Ryan.
Yeah,
Brian Rawson.
Brian Rawson was over in Monaco.
Yeah, I'm stuck over here in Monaco, guys. I couldn't race. I'm stuck at the Monaco Grand Prix.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, man, it's fine. We'll talk to you next week about it. Don't worry about it. It's okay.
That was funny.
Yeah, Ulysses, he was...
Indy.
Right. Indianapolis 500, poor guy.
Could have been. I don't know.
They live there, don't they? They're pretty close. Or no, they're in North Carolina.
Most of them live around in the Mooresville area.
Yeah.
I think Jeff actually is where he's moved to now. The backyard of his house is bordered right onto Ace Speedway.
See, and I'm kind of like, you know what? You're in North Carolina. You're close enough.
Yeah.
And it's the thing too. It's even in North America, it's different. To drive from one end of Canada to the other would take you 8 days, but you could drive from one end of the UK to the other in 12 hours. It's the size of our countries are wild.
Yep.
You could drive from one side of the UK to the other in less than a day, in less than 12 or 11 hours, and drive through 3 different countries. Where over here, it's got 9 provinces. It'll take you a day to get through each one.
7 days to get through, pretty much 7 to 8 days to get across the United States. But a lot of it up in Canada too. You're talking, there's not always, when you get out west more, not as much cities and.
Mm-hmm. Well, and even in the States, you've got a state. You go through a pile of states. In Canada, it's only BC, Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Ontario, Quebec.
Yep.
And then the Pacific. Oh, so it's only 7 provinces, really. Nova Scotia,
new leader.
Stuff.
Merkel was able to take the lead over on the outside.
Is Green still out? Somebody just slapped a wall violently back there. It looked like it hit the wall, and then it actually came off the ground. It was Christian Torres.
RJ Bishop's trying to make a charge underneath Jonathan Peavy to get into the second. I believe he's going to make that happen.
How he held on to that, I have no idea. Christian Torres, holy moly. That was insane. You'll see it on the YouTube replay later on in about 10 seconds. Or less. He tagged that wall so hard the thing looked like it was going to come off the ground.
And just bounced off, put his foot back in it, and kept on going.
Yep. Drive
racing up front right now. But Jonathan PB and RJ Bishop fighting in for the second position. Andy Carroll sitting right there behind him, with Randy Waller right behind him, just waiting to see which one's gonna make it happen and which make it work. But
this has been our top 10 basically for the entire race.
With the exception of Merkel, who's been in the back, but then he all of a sudden he just worked his way up through the field, got himself up to the 4th position, and now he's got himself out front leading. But remember, he did qualify, so that's going to be probably the bigger difference. Ooh, and RJ Bishop there trying to get on the outside of TV, but there's just not enough room. Andy Carroll's making a charge underneath him now.
You think there's room, but the gap will disappear pretty quick.
Yep.
Whoa.
Ooh, that's a quick mover.
No kidding. I'm watching what you're watching. A super quick move. You'd think he would lose some speed, but he almost drove right by him.
Yep. There's a little bit of that draft and pulled right out. Andy Carroll behind him. As long as Jack Merkel stays down near the bottom, they'd go right by TV. But Jack keeps pulling up in front of Jonathan Peavy. It's helping pull him up to the front, keeping RJ Bishop kind of behind him.
Right. Oh, they're slingshotting each other.
And PV just goes for the lead.
We're only halfway through this race. This is pretty awesome up front.
Yeah. But now the caution shot comes out.
I'll say a big dust cloud and a yellow flag. Oh, wow.
The car upside down there.
Right in the middle of the lawn, or right in the middle of the track.
Hawley was making a bit of an attempt back there. He was right behind Randy Waugh. He was coming along with that Lexus pretty good.
Well, how did that car get there? Oh, there was a big at a turn 4. 3 cars there coming out of turn 4. And Snyder. It's Jason. Okay, well then the rest of the crew is coming. So somebody gets spun around. The 23 of Gravois. Who is it? Somebody landed in the middle of the track. Oh, he just drives out there and parks it. Ooh, what is that? That? I don't know about that. Was that to get the yellow?
Not sure.
Oh my.
There was more than 3 cars involved, so... Oh, I see what you mean, yeah. He might have just tried to pull back out on the track and then realized the error of his ways. Decided that if I just sit still, they'll go around me.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. That looked really weird. That looked strange to me. It just didn't... I will go back to live racing here. Let's see. I'm in the wrong spot. Got to fix this camera. I like to have it on pit entrance.
I'm going to guess that Tate Dorsey sped on pit road. He is working his way slowly but surely to the back of the pack.
Matthias Yankee has been forced to retire with a gearbox failure. Benjamin Snyder has retired. And then we've got Trek Togger, Michael Norman, Danica Matthew, and of course, Mike Halgrimson. His first race here, he retired fairly quickly, within the first 6 or 7 laps.
Curious to see what I'm checking it out right now. See what happened with Jack Merkel on that pit stop. Came in as the leader.
Okay.
He took 4 tires. Everybody else around him did too. wonder if he had some damage that he had to fix. Has to be.
Yeah, and he's doing the speed limit the whole way down.
Yeah, he's sitting on pit road. He must have had some damage to fix or something, because he's sitting right there. He's got his tires done, his fuel done, and he's not moving. So he must have had damage to fix.
Do you think maybe I didn't see him pop up with a black?
No, it's probably more damage. This track, you want to keep that thing as airtight as you can.
Right. So even if it's a little repair,
right?
You might as well do it now.
We're not even at the halfway point.
Right.
Close. Fix it now so you can get through and get around later. I moved him back to the 14th position, so.
And we saw Christian Torres take an awful hit in the wall there too, and that thing still looks all right. They seem to fix most of the damage on that deal. Here's a restart here.
Yep, Matt Scully. He was the. I don't know if he was the leader. It's hard to say because PB might have took the high side.
He did get credit for 1 lap led.
Okay, so he might have been the leader. I'm sorry, I weren't paying attention to that. I was trying to figure out what happened to Jack Merkel there. PB's back out front again.
Excellent restart by PB. Got around the 14, and now he's out all by himself. Tyler Stallhood got stuck up on the wall there.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Stallhood, sorry. Got up there a little bit too high.
Tyler's also streaming live. Let me see here. He was on my feed.
Sully's he's doing pretty good. He's hanging tight right there in the second position. Don't know if he took 2 to get himself up there or what he did to get us in that position. RJ Bishop's going to come around the outside of Denny Carroll. Danny almost running the back of Matt Scully. Had to make a quick adjustment there to not run into the back of him. I think Scully only took 2 tires because he's starting to pay the price on that now. He was second a minute ago, and now he's just dropping like a rock. So,
you know what, though? If he's running out for points, and Scully's actually made most of these races, it got him 1 lap led.
Yep.
He took that track position early, and he got a lap led out of it, so he gets the 5 bonus points.
No, that's a smart move, and, if you can't win it, you got to do what you can.
Mm-hmm. Points are points.
Caution again.
Yellow flag.
Be their 8th one, well, probably 9th, because G&L is probably not up to speed on that yet.
Yeah, whatever you're seeing now, just add 1.
Randy Waugh currently in the 3rd position, so.
Oh, what is a parking lot there coming out of turn 2?
Tough corner. See, that's where the track actually narrows up. That's why everybody has so much trouble there.
Right, because you're carrying so much speed off that front straight into the turns.
A little tight on the bottom. Got 2 cars outside of you. It's hard to make that corner. There right now, Jonathan Peavy's our leader. He's going to stay out. Nope, he was faking. Not going to fake. RJ Bishop snookered him, and he went in and got tires. Currently, Jonathan Peavy's led 33 laps. As of right now, he probably got that last one as we went by on start-finish line. So RJ Bishop's got 19 laps led. Next one, I think, is going to be Jack Merkel's got 9 laps. Trying to find the rest of them. There's a couple of guys. There's a guy, Noah Wetzel's got 2. Christian Torres has got 1. That's all our lap leaders for the night so far. So
there's a collection of cars on the back straight there.
Interesting to see what happened to all these, where these cars that pitted are going to come out. Because Jonathan Peavy stayed out, Anthony McCurry stayed out. Josh Mercurio, Denny Carroll, Jack Merkel, Zach Hall, Noah Wetzel. They stayed out. Still got a couple of cars that are coming around to get their lap back probably this time by up there near the front. Kind of looks like RJ Bishop was the first one off pit road, Randy Waugh second, Tate Dorsey third. That Scully probably took 4 that time. Victor Delgado?
Yep, Victor Delgado the third.
Yeah. Haven't talked much about him tonight. He hadn't been here all that as of late. Last couple of races, but...
Yeah, he was... at the start of the season, he was able to make most of the races, but I've noticed, we haven't seen him in a little while.
Currently only 1 lap down, so that's... I don't know... I think they only give it to the first 2 that are a lap down. I wasn't paying attention at the time who they were.
Good evening, Tarnation TV. Good evening, Fluid Studios. I will be Brian Wolf. 7-Eleven looking good in that Hubba Bubba bubble tape. Go John Godfrey. So John's got Brian Wolf out there rooting for him. Where's John currently sitting? Oh. Nowhere? Engine expired on the 7-Eleven.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Not good.
That's the Fluid Studios curse. That's what happens when you say, go John Godfrey. The engine blew up.
Darn it, Brian. Jonathan went. Beebe's going to be out there on the front. Josh McCurry on the outside of him.
Yep, in good company.
Peavy's got a nice NOS stretch on that.
RJ Bishop got tangled up in that.
Yeah. Looked like something between him and Noah Wenzel got together, and that might, I was going to say, caution is out. Just past the halfway point. Really sure what happened here. That wasn't good for RJ Bishop.
No.
Have to wait and see how much damage he gets out of that.
We'll load this up here and see exactly what happened there.
Yeah. It doesn't look terrible, so he might be all right. Unfortunately, he's going to probably have to go down the pit, put tires on it. Currently back in the 17th position. And then he's going to have, about 50 laps or so to work his way back to the front.
Oh, we got in the lawn a little bit there.
So most top cars are pitted. Andy Waugh stayed out. Oh! Little melee going on down the front stretch there with some lap down cars.
While under yellow, we've got a melee?
Yeah.
Currently being credited at first place, Ulysses Sandoval.
Okay, so second is Randy Waugh. Third is the Oscar Ramirez Jr. Like that car.
Oh, the Vodafone one? Yeah, Oscar Ramirez.
I just always liked that Vodafone. I mean, I don't even know what it is. I'm understanding it's something to do with phones or whatever, but I first saw, I used to be a big fan, still am, but of Jamie Whincup over at Australia V8 Supercars, and they ran the Vodafone paint scheme.
I remember you saying that, yeah. And those simple, designs, sometimes they just hit a home run with it. You know, not very, there's no real crazy lines on there or anything. It's just a cool looking color combinations.
And back then they ran like a chrome vinyl and the same kind of paint scheme that he's got, you know, separated that color kind of combination. McLaren even had that for a while too in the F1. Jesse Sandvall led a lap and then came into pits. Randy Wass stayed out to lead a lap. Although the pace car lights are off, so he's he got credited with that lap.
Yeah, Randy did get credit for that. Randy won the 21. The Bama Roll Tide.
Torres, we saw him earlier having an episode there. Currently, he's in the 4th position. 3rd is Matt Scully. Then the guys that pitted, Noah Wetzel, and then Jonathan Peavy, that's led the most laps tonight. Josh Mercurio, Anthony McCurry, Denny Carroll. To stop to who's Denny Carroll, that's our top 10 currently. Jack Merkel back there in the 11th spot.
Merkel still finding a way. Lap number 72 is about to begin with a green flag. If you like the video, double tap the dislike button. Randy will get credit for that lap led.
The question is, can he hold off
3 wide? We almost want to go 3 wide on cold tires. Almost only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades.
Oscar I'm screwing it up. I don't know why.
Oscar Ramos Jr.
Ramos Jr.
Yep.
He got the good run on the outside, took the lead from Randy Waugh. Josh Peavy with those fresh tires. A little bit fresher tires than what them guys had. It's just going to go right up the high side.
And, like, where did Ramos come from? Because what did he qualify? He qualified... Can you check the qualifying of the 5?
Give me just a second here.
Torres
qualified
just made a
17th.
Okay, so really, yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, this is like a 40 car field, so a little bit more than halfway up.
A little strategy. He used a little strategy to get himself up there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, got out there, led a lap. He's doing all right. You know, now he's on a little on older tires than the guys that are around him.
And you want to watch a road course guy. This guy's amazing on a road course.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I've raced against him in fast.
Oh, nice.
And he'll school you at like Sonoma and whatnot. I think he races a keyboard too.
That's crazy.
But he'll walk away from you.
I'm not a great road course racer, but I've won a few here and there. But like I said, Sonoma is probably my favorite. When they ran Sonoma here about a month ago, the carousel just kind of threw me. Been on it before, but I've never, just it threw me.
So I find too, like with Oscar Ramos and like Christian Torres, like a lot of the South American guys, they're really good on the circuits. Like they're really good on the road courses. I love road course racing. I can get around them. I don't end up in the kitty litter every lap. I can stay on the track. I'm not super fast. Like I'm never going to win nothing. I have a lot of fun racing those things, but some guys are just unbeatable.
Yep.
Which is why I don't even bother. I'm like, I'm never going to win against a guy like that. But, at least I'm consistent.
Anthony McCurry, who had a little issue earlier before, currently in the 2nd position. He's been putting his nose down underneath Jonathan Peavy a little bit. Just can't quite get it down there. Hey, we're not to the 3/4 mark-ish, but...
That's 61, though, man. That thing, from going back at the race, that thing turned right into that wall at full speed. I don't know how it didn't knock the front end of that thing right out of it. But there he is, the 2nd.
That's the good thing about moderate damage. Sometimes the crews can fix it up enough so that you can be competitive.
You think that the force that he hit that wall with realistic damage, it might have folded that wheel right out.
Oh, it would have been done. I guarantee it would have been done.
Yeah, that might have caused engine damage or broke something.
He's trying pretty hard to get down underneath Jonathan Peavy, but Peavy's giving him the place. Peavy's just found something in the middle of the track that seems to be working good for him.
It's going to be hard to get around Peavy. Peavy's led more than half this race.
Yeah. Josh Mercurio back here in the old pink and green Cadillac. Been one of the guys up front. Jack Merkel back there in fourth. And he's been up and down, up and down, up and down all night. But as it gets to the end of these races, he's making sure that it always comes up there. And Zachary Hall currently in the 5th position. That's the top 5 drivers right now that are running pretty much nose to tail. Just going to say 6th place car leading the second pack is Oscar Ramones. I don't know why I can't say his name. Junior there. But Randy Wall and Denny Carroll kind of got down to the bottom there, doing a little bump drafting down the back stretch there. Going to try to see if they can't get past him. We got to remember he's on number 5 is on older tires. So.
And like these guys are racing each other where that top pack, they aren't. They're staying in line.
Yep.
And they're driving away from these guys.
That's what they've got to do. You know, if this thing goes green for a while, as we say that, Jack Merkel kind of pokes his nose out there. But, you know, if this thing goes green for a while, kind of stay in line, you know, they're going to pull away from that second pack. But I think you'll see Merkel just kind of pull back in there and wait for a minute. He had a run, but it didn't, you know, with Mercurio on the high side and behind McCreary and Peavy, he's got a draft to help. So even though Merkel got the run, he pulls out there just like pulling a parachute.
Like they think they can get to Peavy, but they cannot figure out how to get around him. This guy doesn't panic. Yeah.
Most of the tracks that we go to, he runs pretty good.
Yeah.
Ooh. Merkel got a little bit, I would say he got a little tight, almost hit the wall, kind of put a little bit of, lift a little bit, put a wheel into it, did not hit it, and shot him down the track, but he was able to, so far he was able to get next to Josh Mercurio, but I don't think it all depends. If he can get those 2 cars in front of him to pull down in front of him, he might have a better chance of pulling by them. Now PV and Anthony Mercurio, they're on the high side, and it's helping out Josh Mercurio down the straightaways. Zach Hall, he's staying right up there behind Mercurio too, so that's giving him another extra little push.
Sometimes I wonder if, you know, they'll run different lines like that on purpose. If that's your teammate, you're going to want to help them, right? So you'll stay in front of them and drive that lane. You know, and that's totally a strategy thing. I do that. You know, I'm going to work with that guy. I'm going to make sure he gets the air off the back of my car.
You'll see that a lot and in this group that I know with Denny Carroll and Randy Wall. The rest of the guys, I'm not really sure who works together and all the time and stuff like that. This is my first time being with these guys.
Mm-hmm.
Starting to catch up to Noah Wetzel there. He pulls to the high side and lets the leader go.
Sandy Gutierrez in the 81, sort of running all by his lonesome here. In 6th position.
See, you're focusing on RJ Bishop a little bit there for a minute. After in the 8th place. Where he started on the restart. Not really working his way up to the front too much.
Crocodile Cromp just had a piston go. And it's his night, a Chevy.
Tate Dorsey just got my RJ Bishop, so
engine
might have
problems
enough
tonight with the
damage in that.
Chevys. I just noticed that too. Engine piston, Crocodile Cromp. Engine gearbox, John Godfrey. Wheel problem, Jason Dady.
Just come off turn 2, a little bit sideways. Good save, he didn't lose much time.
Yep, 8th position. The number 6 there for Dorsey.
Gutierrez is in the 6th position. He was elapsed down, a while back. He's done well.
Oh, we were talking about the lucky dog. He caught a couple of yellows, was able to get back up there. Probably had a good pit stop, and here we are. Somebody is doing something.
Is backwards.
Yellow out.
I think I saw Jonathan Peavy backwards.
At the line, Gutierrez went from 8th to 5th. So let's load up a...
See what happened to Peavy here.
Jonathan Peavy's got some bad damage on the back.
Almost looks like he kind of went across Anthony McCurry's nose.
So there's the 35 of Mike Carroll. So it's like he was going around Carroll. And he just a little tap from the 61.
Trying to go down, and the 61 was there already.
And the rear of that car took all the impact on that one. That might be a thorn in his side the rest of the night.
Yeah, I believe it will.
Back to the live again.
See what happens here on pit road. Jonathan Peavy's just getting there, getting his right side tires. Everybody else is getting left, so he was a little late getting there. Looks like Josh McCreary is going to get off there first. Anthony McCreary, and I'm trying to find the third place car. That would be Jack Marble. Kind of hard to see it from the angle I was looking at it. I couldn't pick him out. Tate Dorsey's going to be in 4th. Gutierrez is going to be in the 5th position. Got a couple of lap cars in there. Kenny Carroll, little snap-on Chevrolet, is going to be in the 6th position. Zachary Hall is going to be in the 6th position, followed by Randy Walk.
Oh, the rest of these guys are headed down the pits here. No, Wetzel, Carnby, Edward, looks like Ben Snyder.
As they say, this changes everything.
Mm-hmm. Gustavo Carrillo in there. He's 3 laps down in that 47, so he'll probably... Looks like he's caught in a wave around position.
47.
Yeah, I'm sure once the lights go out on the pace car, he'll probably drive around. Just reading the YouTube comments here, got Jason in the YouTube chat asking, I want to ask if I can be at the booth for a race as a guest commentator. I'm always down for that. I don't know what you sound like, but as long as you can, as long as you know the game and can roll with the conversation, we can always bring, even as a third, sometimes we roll this thing with 3 people.
And then you got David
Vodka, yeah. Any way to show lap times now and then? The ticker has them, right?
Well,
ticker has an interval. Yeah.
Interview, but it won't have their lap time.
I wonder if this thing shows lap times. It shows fastest laps.
So when you're doing that, you don't have the thing when you hit the space bar and replays so that it could bring that up and down.
I do, but it's covered by the ticker because that's information that I see. That's
right.
That's
what
really
I was thinking.
needed,
So you wouldn't be able to because the ticker closes it up.
Yeah. That black box right there will show it. On the left there, that one I'm bringing up and down right there now. But it only shows the fastest lap times for all the cars from each lap that goes around, but I also can only show 10 at a time.
And in a 30 to 40 car field,
mm-hmm.
You're not going to see everybody. We're getting down to it. Almost about a little over 30 laps left to go.
There's the top 10 cars. You can see in that little black box to the left there, the top 10 cars, that's their lap times from the last lap. Of course, this is the fastest lap. I wonder how that works. Is it every lap does that update? Or is it just fastest lap?
That's going to be, because if you were doing current laps, like they just, Anthony McCurry just did a 1 minute 35 second .656.
Exactly. I think this is fastest lap of the race, and then it ranks all the cars. So like the number 32 and the number 24 both have the fastest lap on the night. That's about the best I can do. And then lap info, that's not going to work because that would be me. And then there's the interval.
Is there any way that you could, I'm just trying to help here, but show the GNL TV? Because that would give them all that.
It would, yeah. I have had that before. But it ends up really cluttering up the broadcast window. Whoa, I just got away from that
but
car.
But something you could show once in a while, that's just what I was saying.
Yeah, I could actually have that on its own separate screen, and I could like show it. Like when we're under yellow, I could put that up there like on a split screen or something.
Josh McCurry took the lead over on the start.
Yeah, the yellow
there.
Came out pretty quick.
Yellow came back out. Anthony McCurry was to think about coming back after him, and then yellow fell.
It came out pretty quick. I saw something happen in the background there.
I think it was a 35, kind of do a little zig and zag, but I didn't know if it affected too many people back there.
I'll see if I can find it here. Get your replay. Green flag goes up and then down pretty quick.
Jason will probably just have to. That's probably the best thing to do is get on, do the team speak sometime. Sit down and talk with us. You know, see what we can figure out what you sound like and how you do it.
Even then, like it's not even how it's not. I'm not when we say what you sound like. It's not like your voice has to like sound a certain way. It's more like how you can roll in a conversation.
Yeah, that's like Greg Lovell.
Yeah, we need to make sure you can fit. You fit.
Yeah. Me and Blaine have been doing this for a little over a year, so kind of we blend.
And then we've run with Seth Cole on 3-man broadcast, and then it all works out pretty good. But Seth's also a broadcaster.
Seth is an exceptional broadcaster.
Yes, he is. He's probably one of the best. He's the reason I started doing it.
And speaking of that, he's not here tonight. He's not racing tonight.
He's not here, but this just in 1 second. He's not here, but he's somewhere.
Yes.
You're welcome.
Do you got a good Seth Cole impression?
No. Surprisingly enough, I don't do a good Seth Cole impression.
Haven't mastered the Seth Cole.
No.
Huh?
Impeccable Jack Merkel.
Yes, you do Jack Merkel very well.
You'd swear he's standing right there.
Yeah. What was the other one we did?
I think it was LaPointe. Yeah.
Austin LaPlante. Yep.
LaPlante, yeah. Is he still out here? Yep.
So.
There he is.
There's the Dasani car.
And the Dasani 92. I dig that one. Another very simple paint scheme that works, and it's a color that you don't see a lot. That's another thing that draws me is the color combos. I always try to find something different.
The other car is actually pretty nice looking too, the red and white one.
And I've always been a fan of Mercurio because he's always got that blue and that pink.
Fluid Studios, Brian Wolf. Meet Mr. T in the booth. A pity the fool that don't watch Tarnation TV.
Yep. Thank you, Brian. Brian and I started this thing a long time ago. We were talking about there on Sunday. What was the number? Like 3,800 hours.
Yeah, something like that.
The channel has been watched like 3,800 hours, which probably isn't that much time, but it sounds like a lot of time.
I think it was higher than that, but yeah.
Yeah. TarnationTV.com. It's an actual website. Of course, it just basically links back to the YouTube page, but the information on the website's more like pricing. What we charge for specific race. Maverick signed us up for an entire season, so they get a deal. You know, there's always ways to work with pricing if you need the services.
We
Look at the bumps on that back straightaway.
I know. We got to get working with SMO on their next crazy night. Do that on turbo.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. We don't really use the turbo channel much. I'm gonna get a shot of this. Yeah, you do. Yeah. I'm going to get a shot of this here. Watch these cars coming down the back. Look at them bouncing up and down.
Track's pretty rough.
I think that's wild. Yep.
Josh Mercurio is our current leader. Anthony Mercurio on the outside. Jack Merkel and Tate Dorsey. And pretty even start. Jack Merkel got a really good run, but had nowhere to go. See what's going to happen here in the corner, because we've only seen a few drivers actually make that outside work to their advantage. RJ Bishop being one of them, which I see him in
Ulysses.
Send the ball, puppy.
Oof. He took a big hit back there. I think
count RJ Bishop out. He's back there about in the 8th, position, still making a charge for it.
Ulysses saved it.
You man. Ball,
quick replay here on Ulysses. Thing just kind of was doing some wishy-washy stuff. A couple guys saved it, actually. PV got into the wall, too, and saved it. Oh, may have spoke too soon.
Unfortunate for PV tonight, though. He had probably the best car out there.
Yeah, he did.
Ooh! Tank snapper going into one. Zach Hall and Anthony Mercurio cutting together. Then he lost out on that one. He's in the 2nd position. Now he's currently dropped back to, I'm going to say, probably around 8th when he gets to the line here. Moves Jack Merkel up into the 2nd position. Mercurio even further back than that. All the way back to 12th he went on to that one. And here comes Jack Merkel making the charge on the bottom underneath Josh Mercurio, and just powers through. But Josh coming back.
Yep.
Got about just a little over 20 laps to go. It's go time. You want to win this thing, you got to go get it.
Yep. You got to go get it, but do you drive the wheels off trying to? I mean, Josh can get him. He's right there. It's Merkel and Peavy. I mean, unfortunately for Peavy, took a lot of rear end damage there a while back and crushed that whole trunk lid right up into the gas tank. So definitely a little bit of an aero problem.
Josh Mercurio
currently running back. Where is he now? 11th. Not too bad. But Merkel.
The points. So I know Merkel's points leader. I think Josh is right there with him, isn't he?
Yep.
Josh Mercurio.
Maybe we can bring it out real quick here, actually. Yeah, Josh Mercurio is actually in 2nd place. Yeah. And then the
where's he?
Sorry?
Made a few. Stentia Gutierrez, the 81.
Yeah. Oh, in points?
Yeah.
15th.
Okay, so I didn't think he made all the races.
No,
he not even been at him. Andy Wass currently back there in the 5th position, and kind of taking a look at Tate Dorsey, but hasn't really been able to make the pass. Denny Carroll behind him, 6th position. They've been kind of running in the top 10 most of the night.
Yeah. Yeah, he's been having good luck this race. I mean, now that we've mentioned it, maybe not so much for so much longer. Every time we talk about that type of thing, some bad stuff always happens. But last couple of races, Denny's been getting caught in some stuff. So
yeah, he has. Victor Delgato, the 3rd, currently running in the 7th position.
Yep.
We talked about him a little bit, but he hasn't really been running in the top 10 throughout the night. But as the race unfolds, gets near the end, he's got himself kind of up there.
Yeah, because I believe early on he was a lap down as well.
Yep.
Found his way into a good slot, and here we are, 7th position, Victor.
Oscar Romero's Jr., he's been led a few laps tonight, running around up there near the front. He's now currently in the 8th position. Jonathan Peavy, unfortunate incident that happened to him there, kind of with a lap car and Anthony McCreary.
Well, you know what? Peavy a couple laps ago was in 11th, and he's up in the 9th now, so he's still picking away at these guys.
He just went back to the 10th position to Anthony McCreary after that incident earlier, kind of worked his way back up there, got past him, and then he just got passed by Zach Hall. So that's our current top 10. You know, Peavy's still going at it. So we got, we're less than 20 laps to go.
Ramos Jr. just went around up there. Wah around as well. What happened to Wah? 41 of Carroll was just hanging out next to him, and then Randy Wah just went around. We under yellow, yes we are.
Look at that.
See here. Yeah, that was weird. The 21 just seemed to
kind of look like what I could see on my screen, that Denny Carroll had a little bit of latency going.
Maybe.
A little tight off the exit, and they just touched.
Oh, just a little bit. Yeah, just enough. And then back a little bit farther, Oscar Ramos Jr. The 61 there on Mercury.
We've run enough laps, so everybody's coming down pit road. It'll be interesting to see anybody does like what they've done earlier, take 2 tires and see if they can get out and get the lead.
Make sure you join us next week when we are back live at the Milwaukee Mile. It's a mile long. I just learned flat tracking. How flat? Like, what's the banking? Like 4?
Oh gosh, I think it's probably close to 9 degrees. Not much.
Yeah. That's
not much at all.
Yeah.
So,
-7.
Oh, Gutierrez on the exit of pit road.
Yes.
He'll keep that position when he gets going, but
yeah, you're right. Yeah, because he got over the line, right? So he'll be able to take that spot back. Yeah.
The spotter will tell him to go back up there.
Sorry for the NASCAR official holding the go sign.
Yeah, pretty much took him out.
Yeah.
Jack Merkel was the first off, Josh McCurry second, Tate Dorsey in third. He's been right in there, right around the top 8 pretty much all night. I don't think he's led any yet, so let's see what our magic little... Where did he go? He must have took 2 tires. Tate Dorsey.
Oh, Dorsey.
Has not led a lap yet tonight.
Nope. Has 14 pit stops. That's a lot.
Yeah. Now, if you end up getting a lap down and all, I don't think he has all night. But I think that's kind of what's kept him from running pretty close to the front all night, is that he's, every chance he's got, he's going in there and putting new tires on there so that he can, should it go green, he can go further.
Exactly. I might as well take advantage of that. And then when you need to do a track position strategy deal, at least you've always got the gear to get you there, and maybe skip one,
Well, you think about it, if you've done that all night long and then they get a bit of a long run, or even not even necessarily a long run, it's 3 to 4 to go or something, and everybody's, they got to pit. You jump in, take 2 tires, you might be able to hold them off.
And you never know when you're going to go into a long one. You could be
Yep.
Could be right now. You know what I mean? You'll see on screen there right now, we got Milwaukee, then the week after that, Pocono, then Road America on the 17th. That'll be cool. Then we're going back to Daytona on the 8th of July. All these races start at 8:15 here at Maverick. Primetime racing. We playoffs on Sunday nights. That might actually change. We're supposed to be live there on Sunday, but I believe Danny Lovell had a shift change at work, so we may have to postpone a week or two. It'll still happen on Sunday. It just might not happen this Sunday. So I might have to change the date on the thumbnail. If you subscribe to the channel and the thumbnails are up there for upcoming events, like the links to the races, those dates might change.
Just over 10 laps to go. Jack Merkel on the point. Josh Mercurio and Jack got a really good start.
These guys they're not doing much lane changing here. Eh? Some tracks, they're always wanting the outside. They always make that switch. 3 wide back here.
I don't think that's going to work here. The only person we've seen so far on a restart that made it really work was RJ Bishop. So
right. And where's RJ hanging out here now?
He's back in the 10th position. He's right there.
Yeah. Gutierrez in 3rd.
Josh Mercurio is currently in 2nd, but I don't know if they've got anything for Jack Merkel now that he's got out front. I mean, if he can just get this thing to go green, I don't think they're going to catch him. But then again, you never know. These guys might be saving a little bit back there.
For 3/4 of this race, the top 10 was pretty consistently the same crew. Now this whole thing is flipped.
Yep.
Now we've got Victor Delgado III in there, consistent for the last, couple dozen laps. We've got Santi Gutierrez in there. Tate Dorsey's been there all night. Mercurio's been there for a while. Merkel's back up front. But yeah, there's a few people in here. Sandoval now up in 7th. And Christian Torres, who took a couple big hits early in the race. Thinking it's going to end these guys' race, but you know what? Hit the pits, get the damage fixed. Car's still a little bit crunched maybe, but Christian Torres running in 8th right now, and then Jorge Pachon behind him. And then you got Zach and RJ battling for that 10th.
I was beginning to think that nobody had something for him, but Josh Mercurio pulled right down and underneath Jack Merkel, but he wasn't able to get it done. Funny how we didn't see the high side really working for everybody, but once they get past the original start, everybody up front's been running that high side. This track must have a little bit better, grip on the high side. Jack Merkel's right on the top of that dark stuff. Tate Dorsey just kind of taking a look underneath Josh Mercurio there.
I guess it's a matter of like picking that higher line. Is it more throttle play? Like, how are you making that thing stick up there? Guys have just figured out how to do it.
A lot of times, most of the tracks, some of them will have a better tire wear the higher you go, but you're not pinching the car so much. But, you know what I mean? The cars will be a little bit looser.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times at these tracks, usually it's on a gripped up track. They got a little bit more grip to them, and the higher groove will work better. Brian Ring tracks, everybody, you always want to run the high side.
Right. Tate Dorsey there in that 6 Valvoline car, holding on to 3rd. Victor Delgado III looking into his rear bumper there.
About 7 laps away from the end of this? I think 7. I always mess that up if I try to figure it out.
Right. Yeah, me too. I'm bad with that.
Now you hit the line, that's the lap you're on.
Yeah.
So it should be 5 laps, 6 laps, but actually it's 7.
Yeah, because you're still doing the whole lap that you're on, yeah. Dorsey looking underneath Mercurio. RJ Bishop in some trouble back there.
Mercurio kind of took a different line, a more defensive line that time, just to try to slow his progress off the exit of the corner.
Currently locked onto the 6th here of Tate Dorsey. He's in 3rd right now.
And he's been running around the middle of the top 10 all night. Now that it's time to get up and put your put elbows up and get going. It's time he's there right there, just worrying up Josh Mercurio quite a bit.
Gutierrez and Delgado are right there too. These two guys here fighting for fourth.
He got down there pretty good that time. Over in there. I just don't know if he's going to have enough off the corner to make that pass. Now, see, he's trying to get back up there, but Delgado got there before he could get back up, so it might hurt Dorsey.
Delgado just getting in there, just drove away from Gutierrez. Him and Gutierrez were having a pretty good fight there for fourth, and now Gutierrez fell back.
We only got about 3 laps left to go here. Jonathan Peavy, he's up there in the 5th spot. Well, even though he had the most laps led and was running really, really good, he just, had some bad luck. And they fixed up the car, and he's coming back.
Yeah.
I just think he's going to run out of time to catch Jack Merkel.
Now, I've been locked down to the 052 of Victor Delgado.
He's rolling that thing
up in third now.
Just getting her done on that high side.
Didn't have to work on Dorsey very long to get around him on the right. Mercurio, it's a shame. I don't know if Delgado's got enough time left in this race. There's only a couple laps left here, so he may run out of laps.
Well, of course, Mercurio's running that high groove where he wants to be. So
right now and Delgado wants to be there too because he's been passing guys to the right.
Yeah, right.
But you're not going to be able to pass Mercurio to the right. He's just going to block it.
Ooh, Josh Mercurio.
Well, you can now.
Mercurio got back up there. I thought for a moment that slowed Delgado down a bit.
Yeah.
Okay, Dorsey got back up in there, but I don't know if it's going to make it happen. But that's all good for Jack Merkel because everybody behind him is racing hard.
Yeah, Delgado did the right thing. He had the lift. Otherwise, they both would have
there
wrecked.
Goes Delgado down to the bottom just to see if he can make it past Mercurio.
He might actually make it work.
Last lap.
No way. Nice move.
Yes. Wicked nice move.
Yeah. Not enough time, I don't think, to get to Merkel.
No, but I think just got to run in that high groove that he's been doing real well in.
Yeah. Victor Delgado. And there's Merkel taking the checkered flag.
Ooh, Dorsey just a little bit into the grass. Nice save, though.
Great finish to this race.
That was an awesome finish.
Yeah. What a run by Delgado. I don't know, man. If Delgado had 5 more laps, he might have got to Merkel, depending on the tire situation.
Yeah, that too. But then again, what was Merkel doing? Was he saving, or was he,
Gives him a congratulations and almost rolled him into the snack bar. Really good run by everybody involved in the last half of that race. That was exciting. We were actually watching battles all over the track.
Everywhere. Pretty good ones. See if we can find Josh Mercurio. He's in here. Just got to find him. Josh Mercurio, Ron Blaine up in the booth, buddy. 3rd place. You've been running. You ran up front most of the race. Kind of. Was running up there really great. And made that little error at the end there, coming off the 2, hit the wall. The bottom kind of got on the high side. All in all, not a bad night for you. You did what? You got some night. And you got 10 laps in. Not bad at all. What's a little bit tonight?
Yeah, overall it was pretty good. I mean, qualified up front, that was great, and qualified up front, was able to get back up there. I was sort of involved in one of the early wrecks, and so I went back in the field. Eventually got caught up in something minor, had some front end aero damage, and so for the rest of the night I was kind of, fighting an uphill battle. So just really didn't really have anything for Jack at the end of the race there. Just didn't have the straight line speed to really make anything happen on the straightaways. And And then Tate and Victor at the end there. That was hard racing. And,
good, clean hard racing.
Yeah, that's the most important part. It's the clean part, because if it's not clean, then you stop racing. So,
well, like I said, if you hadn't hit that wall, I don't know if they could have got you'd had to give Delgado the high side. That's where he was making all his moves. That's where you were running, and it just kept him kind of blocked out of there. You hit that wall, then all of a sudden you went down. We thought, oh no, he's got him now, but you were able to get back up in front of him. But eventually he was able to make the move, get out in front of you, and unfortunately take the second place away from you.
Yeah, I mean, again, I was kind of fighting uphill battle with that front end aero damage, so I was just using up the tires a bit more in the corners, and so it just caught up to me right at the end of the race there. Yeah, it is what happens. It's what happens.
Yeah. Well, you can't complain. You're still second, probably you're second in points, we know, going into the race. You still had a great night, led some laps, ran up front. Can't complain too much about that at all, really. So unless Blaine's got something he'd like to ask you, I'll give you the floor and let you thank the people who got here.
Man, it's a fantastic race. Watch what you guys are doing here. I was just saving up a bunch of replays and whatnot, so that's why I'm kind of silent right now. But yeah, as the consistency of the last half of that race was really fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to pass here. I guess it's kind of by design, but when you grip up the tracks and when the tire heat gets that high, you can't make a move, because not only do you screw up that lap, but then it takes 5-6 laps to cool down the tires. So I think you saw us in the first couple of runs there. We were trying to make moves on the bottom, and then we all kind of wised up and realized that we had to play the long game. But it is what it is.
All in all, so I'm going to give you the chance to thank the people that got you here, and then I don't know what we're going to do, because our second place and first place guy are not in TeamSpeak anymore.
Oh boy, well, you could just interview me 3 times if you want.
Oh, is that it?
That's too bad. I wanted to talk to Victor. You were talking about hard to pass. He was passing everybody on the right. That guy, he found a way around a bunch of guys that way.
Well, let's see. I got this is crazy, guys. I think we've had 8 races. I've got 4 second places now. I'm kind of tired of it. Someone told me the other day that Chick Hicks from Cars also races the 86, and so I guess I'm just living out fiction in real life. So I'm gonna wreck the King someday and win the Piston Cup, as we know. Other than that, I got to thank the guys at NNSCRA. We have a special event coming up. Sure, you can check us out on Facebook. And then, family, friends, everybody I race with, everybody I hang out with offline, love them, and love this game. So hopefully people keep racing on it, keep using it, and this community stays alive. Yeah, we saw you rocking the NSCRA on the back of your car there, the big yellow, can't miss it. Oh yeah, race cars, they're just big billboards on wheels. Oh, yeah. So gotta rep all the folks.
Congratulations on your third place finish. So now we don't have the other guys. We could grab Tate Dorsey and Jonathan Peavy, the fourth, fifth, and cars, and just talk with them a little about their night if you'd like. Sure, if you want to.
Should I stay in here? We can.
Yeah, we can hang out.
Sure, why not?
Cool.
The post race usually ends up being about a 10-minute thing anyway, so we got to fill up sometime. Let's interview some people.
So what we've done, guys, is the winner and the second place car aren't here tonight, so we can't interview them. So we thought we'd bring Tate Dorsey and Jonathan Peavy in, and they can tell us a little bit about their night. So I'm going to start with Tate. You ran up top 10 all day. You ran up to the front a little bit. You kind of went back a little bit. You pitted quite a few times, actually. You pitted 14 times tonight. So I think we were figuring you probably kind of were just trying to keep fresh tires on it all the time. Got near the end of it. Yeah, great run, actually, to get yourself up there into the 4th position. Kind of got Delgado just was running that high side pretty good. So tell us a little bit about your night, Tate.
Yeah, I kept pitting and speeding like a big old dummy. So I was like, well, I might as well make sure I have enough tires for the rest of the way. And then I felt good. I liked the track quite a bit. I felt like I could move around, had some speed. And then Delgado at the end, I was watching my mirror and he was sending it in there. And I was like, all right, I got to make a move on Mercurio. I got my tires a little hot, but I was real close to clearing him, I felt like. He drove really well. And then, Delgado got that top rolling. I was like, all right, maybe I can follow him through. And they bounced off the wall, I think on the last lap. I thought I might have a chance, but it was good though.
TV's up there typing up a storm.
Yeah, my bad. I'm sorry, fellas.
You're good. I'm just picking on you. That was pretty good though. I just figured we ain't gonna give you the super long one, but just we couldn't get to the other people, so kind of just figured that we'd let you chat and tell us a little bit about your night. So I'm gonna give you the floor to thank the people that got here.
Yeah, thanks to Maverick. Keep doing the off-track adminning. Shout out to Mondays of Thunder. That's the league I normally run. We're in a little bit of an off season right now, but it's fun. Then my 2 kids and wife. It's fun. And if you want more racing at Charlotte, Fuel is racing tomorrow for anyone that's itching to get out there and drive.
Congratulations on your 4th place finish. And now we're gonna talk to the Jonathan PV guy. Takes the pole, leads the most laps. What happened there with you and Anthony Mercury? I know it had involved a lap car. It kind of looked like you came down and Mercury was there. I know that both sides would probably see it a little differently, but that was a tough one for you, and you still managed to come back up and finish that.
Yeah, I've watched the replay. I actually watched it right after when the caution came out, and you guys were actually streaming it, and I watched it when you guys were showing the slow-mo, and that's pretty much it. I was trying to get around the lap car because he was way too slow going into the corner, and I overestimated his speed, and I thought I was more clear than I was coming into the corner, and at first I thought he just flat dumped me, because that's the way it looked in the mirror on the in-car. It just looked like he just flat dumped me. But after watching the replay, it was just one of those things. He had a piece of his bumper down there, and that was just enough for me to get sideways and go around. But so no hard feelings on him. I've already watched it. I mean, we were racing for the lead. He was trying to take advantage of a lap car. I was trying to avoid the lap car. So it's one of those things. It's a racing incident. So no hard feelings on my end.
It was so close too when we were watching it from the helicopter. I'm like, oh man, it was just a matter of like a half second and it would have been fine.
I think if I had lifted half a second later, I would have been clear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's like one of those things like cooler heads prevail, which is kind of cool because you don't see that too much in this game. But I know what you mean. I've been there. I've done that. It sucks. And you had a great car. I really don't know if Merkel and any of the guys would have had anything for you. Should the night have gone the way the rest of the night gone the way the rest of the race went for you. But
I was hoping that I could get back up there after the spin. I was able to get back up to 5th, but by the time I got to 5th, my tires were just gone. I couldn't make any moves on anybody, and plus I had a little bit of damage slowing me down on the straightaway. The aero just kept me from reaching full speed, a little bit of acceleration loss. So coming off the corners, I couldn't get the run that I needed. And then just like I said, going from, I think I went from 16th or 14th to 5th on that last run. By the time I got to the top 5, my tires were just shot.
That's still a good run. And you've been every race, so you're in the points too, correct?
I missed the first 2. I did not qualify for Daytona. Okay. And I was not here for Vegas, so I missed the first 2. But after this race, I should be in the top 10 in points.
Oh, nice. And that's what a win would have helped you out a lot more for that. But yeah.
I got that Dover win in the bank, so I just got to get another one.
All right. Blaine, you got anything for Jonathan?
Yeah, I was just pulling up the points to get an exact number. PV going into this race was in 8th position, 402 points off Merkel. So yeah, you were in the top 10. So definitely, yeah, that's wild. You said you missed a couple of races too, which is also pretty awesome that you're still holding on to a top 10 spot, man. But yeah, it was great watching you dominate this thing and then seeing that rear end take that amount of damage and like but you know you're still there at the end, which is crazy too. It's the great thing about this simulator, man. That's why we love it. You ended up getting back up to 5th, so
yeah.
Congratulations.
The trick about it is just saving tires, especially here at Charlotte. Like Charlotte's a lot like Dover with tires. If you run hard for 5 laps, you're done at the end of a run. I kind of wish we'd have been able to get a long run like we had last week at Gateway, but that wasn't meant to be tonight, because I feel like I could have done something on the long run especially. But all in all, from my point of view, I would say it was a good race. It had its ups for sure, but it had a little bit of a down, but I'm glad I was able to turn it around.
Give you the opportunity to thank the people that got you here and get you on your way.
Yeah. Well, first I want to thank all of the soldiers who have fought and died for this country. I come from a military family. I never served, but I have family that did. The military is a very strong point for me. I've got one of my best friends is a former Army Ranger, and he lost 2 of his friends in Afghanistan, and then one of them in a training accident. So I carried those 2 on the hood of the car tonight, Staff Sergeant Kimmel and Warrant Officer Brenneman. They were good friends of his, and so I carried them on the hood. They rode with me, and I really enjoyed being able to do that.
I was just going to say, I actually saw that on your hood, and I was looking at it there at the start of the race, or somewhere in the broadcast. I noticed it was on the hood. You actually had the names of those guys on there. So yeah, that was pretty cool. So they were friends or family?
So I've got a good friend of mine who is former Army Ranger, 75th Ranger Battalion, or Ranger Regiment, 3rd Battalion out of Fort Benning. And they were 2 of his best friends while he was in the military. And Sergeant Kimmel, he was killed in Iraq. And then Warrant Officer Brenneman, he was killed in a training accident in Germany in 2006. He was an Apache pilot.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, so it was great being able to carry those guys on the hood for my friend, because they've meant a lot to him. They made a big impact on him, and it was great to be able to throw a tribute out to all of our soldiers that have fought and died for this country.
And that was a good tribute.
Yep, that's super cool.
Thank you guys for putting on the broadcast. Thanks to Keith for doing the off-track admin. It has certainly helped the racing over the last several weeks. And congrats to Jack. Like I said, I wish I'd have been able to be up there to give him a fight for it, but congrats to the 24.
Are you going to be able to make it next week to the Milwaukee Mile?
Oh, absolutely.
Cool. Well, we might be talking to you again then.
I certainly hope so.
All right, well, congratulations on your 5th place. Good job, buddy.
Thank you.
Great show. Thanks, Jonathan.
Mm-hmm.
Jonathan Peavy, that was cool. He actually brought up the hood stuff. Good call pulling him down here, because I'm like, that's neat, because I focused on that in the broadcast, and I was going to ask him about it, but he beat me to it, so that's pretty neat.
Yeah. It's nice with a lot of the tributes that they had out there tonight.
A lot of
it's a pretty
really
good racing. A little more
jobs,
cautions than we'd probably like to see, but there's some great racing.
Yeah, the last half of these races are phenomenal. It takes a little bit of time for these guys to get it sorted out at the beginning. It's usually a rough start. But yeah, 12 cautions tonight for 38 laps, 19 lead changes. And yeah, that's just some great racing to the end. It was cool. It was really neat to see. It's too bad we didn't get to talk to the other 2 guys, especially Delgado. The moves he was making to the right, to gain 2 or 3 spots there late in the race and get the second place finish is crazy.
Yep.
I was looking forward to talking to him. And Delgado's actually in 48th place coming into this race. So it would have been, it's interesting to see. Yeah, it's a good points bump for him because a bunch of guys in front of him didn't even show up tonight. So he's going to leapfrog from 48th. He's going to gain 10 spots at least. Obviously not full time, but if he plans to be, tonight's show definitely gets him up there.
Yep. Tonight did a great job. And Jack Merkel did, his typical Jack Merkel. He's, usually right there at the end of these races. That's why he's the points leader. Hasn't won for a little while, but just because he's, hasn't. He's been doing that thing of starting in the back. So tonight he decided to start up near the front, and that paid off for him.
Yeah, qualified 4th, finished 1st. So yeah, and led 34 laps. Like I said, PB got the bonus points for leading 53 of them. Dominating for us, but as with real racing, stuff happens sometimes, and he just got like he said, it's just a split second, like a half second. If he kind of just wound up a little bit earlier, he would have been able to, get into that gap a little bit smoother and not run out of room. So that's basically all it was. But
misjudged the lap car, and it cost him.
Yeah, when by the time you misjudged the speed, you're like, man, this guy's going slower than I thought. Now your evasive maneuver is going to be a little bit more out of control than if he would have started it sooner.
Had he not done that, he would have had to stop. The career would have gone right by him. Yeah, he probably would have still been going, and he probably would have finished the race. But he thought he had him cleared, and it just didn't work out for him. So it's unfortunate, but he put on a heck of a show for a while, man.
Yeah, that's it, man. Well, thanks, Ron. I know you're under the weather tonight, man. So thanks a lot for the co-hosting duties this evening. I'll keep you posted about Sunday. I'm talking with Danny about that right now. That might change. Either way, if it does change, I'll just change the date. The link won't. People have the link, the YouTube link. The link won't change, just the date will change.
Just remember, Sunday, if it does end up being Sunday, just to keep somebody close, because I may not be home in time, so we'll see.
Yep, roger that. All right, man. Yeah, do you have anything else to say, or we just want to wrap her up?
Great, good race. More cautions we really wanted, but it's still all in all great race, good show. Delgado did some really, really well tonight. It's too bad we couldn't interview him. Congrats to Jack Merkel. Unfortunate for Jonathan PV. It's still, Josh Mercuro did a great job tonight as well. So, great race.
Yeah, really good racing. Well, as always, if the women don't find you handsome, they should at least find you handy. Keep your stick on the ice.